Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles, Legend of Zelda D&D. I am your GM, ArticulateT, and this is episode 52, isn't it?
Three.
Or 3. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, so this is episode 53.
Yes, it is episode... Oh, I thought it was episode 3.
Those first two episodes are long, man. But yeah. With me today, as always, I have playing Renji, Heir of Nihilus. I have TheNetherlad.
Hello! Also, help!
I have Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
Hello.
I have Ziden Shari being played by Robopirate.
Howdy.
And I have Max being played by Keistrith.
Hello.
So, what happened last time?
Well, quite a bit. Last time on Hyrule Chronicles, the Storm's Eye headed out from Zora's domain towards Snowhead Mountain. Even though it was difficult to traverse, Hikan easily scaled the mountain with help of a rope and an immovable rod, and as such helped the rest of the party to scale some of the more difficult terrain. There was a fight with some Chilfos and a couple of Freezards that nearly killed several of our party, but we managed to weather the attack and come out, well, while scathed, we came out victorious. After that, it was decided that we should find a cave to settle in for the night to get some rest. However, Renji, during the night, finds himself visited by the same Hylian that communicated with other party members previously in his dreams. Before anything of substance can be discussed, a dark presence appears behind Renji, and that's where we left off last time.
Yes. So, I'm on the wrong window. There we go. So as you, as we are at this point in time, just before the strange man, in your dreams asks you another question, the presence manifests behind you, slinks its arm over your right shoulder, wheels it around, and puts the tips of its fingers on your left cheek, and says in your ear, says over your shoulder to this fellow, "Back off. This one's mine."
I would like to get out of this grapple.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Make a athletics or acrobatics check, whichever is better.
I'm not very good at those. That is a 6.
That's 6. So you kind of like, you try and slink out of it, and it kind of forces itself back against you. As the fingers on your cheek kind of press in, you feel like the jagged nails on the ends of these fingers are piercing your flesh. But as this sensation happens and you try and force yourself out of it, you wake up in the cave with a start. Just kind of like sitting bolt upright, covered in sweat, which is not the best thing in this climate at this point in time. As you kind of
I
sit bolt upright.
quickly try and prestidigitate it away and look around to see if there's any danger.
With the as you kind of look around, you definitely see that you're back in the cave. There is a the webbing that was placed there, the icy webbing that was placed by the by Frost Spider Ziden, has still held up and is still covering the cave. And there is like the low embers of the fire are still going. But as you kind of look over, you see another light, and you kind of see Mara, who's situated herself with like a little alchemist's sort of kit. And she kind of like looks over to you, sort of surprised. And you can see quite clearly in the flickering light, there's like one shattered glass that is on the floor. She kind of looks over to you and says, "Renji, are you okay?"
Bad dream. Sorry.
I gather.
Did I scare you?
Maybe it startled me a bit. I'm sorry.
No, that's my bad. Do you hear anything before I woke up?
Hear anything?
Did I say anything? Did you see anything?
Nothing. I didn't hear anything. I just.
Okay.
Me neither, says Max, who also wasn't able to sleep.
Okay, so I usually have bad dreams, but this one was weird.
Weird. How?
Okay, so I sometimes get a visitor in my dreams. This time I had two.
The old man again.
Oh yeah, you mentioned this guy back in Drumnik. What did he say to you?
Well, he didn't really get to that. Problem with that was before I could say anything, or like he was mostly asking questions, and before I could say anything worthwhile, the other, nightly presence, decided they wanted none of that, and I woke up.
Oh.
So he doesn't like the old man.
Apparently not, which, to be quite honest, makes me trust the guy a little bit more.
Still don't feel so good about him being in our heads.
Me neither.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose after all this is said and done, with the whole, whatever this cartel stuff is, or whatever we have to do with Flamgo, that if he's still around, something to look into, I think.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think having communications go through me would be a good idea.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Honestly, I don't think I'd be a good idea either.
Well, not exactly sure what time it is still, but try and get some more rest if you can before the others wake up and we need to continue on.
Yeah. I can actually take watch if necessary.
Well, I'm not gonna sleep.
Any reason?
Tried, but I can just know it's there.
That makes sense.
It's like adrenaline's kicking off every second. It's annoying.
Okay.
What are you actually working on, Mara?
We went through a lot of potions in that last fight. Thought I'd just spend some time replenishing the stock. Something. Keep us safe while we're up here.
Fair enough. That's a good idea.
Unless you have any other things to chat about.
Not really.
Yeah, I'd probably glance over at Max, but wouldn't really instigate any conversation immediately.
Nice is reading another different book, though. He seems to be getting through these very fast.
Okay, then I would ask like which book he'd be reading.
Nice finally looks at the cover of it. Probably one of the ones he brought from Sarkoza. I think this one's a history book.
Mm. Fair enough. There seem to be a lot of those.
Mm.
Yeah. You eventually, you continue on with remaining as you are until eventually Ziden and Hikan awake from their rests, and
So just like Renji asked Master Rose reading, he's like, "That's a good point. What am I reading?"
Did you read the cover?
Oh yeah, these have those.
Oh dear. But yeah. So Ziden and Hikan, you awaken to the Max, Renji, and Mara all are already being awake.
Morning.
Yeah.
Hello. Hikan is nodding. He is groggy. He is a slow riser. Which is very ironic, given that he gets up and goes and exercises first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm. I hold my poncho a little bit closer to myself, looking over at Hikan. I don't suppose you would want to postpone any training for today? I think we should preserve our strength.
We can at least stretch, he says as he takes like a big stretch and then winces because he was bitten.
Yeah, maybe be careful.
Okay.
Yeah. Good idea.
I will actually go over to Mara, given that she's been pretty good about keeping us up, and I will give her one of the healing potions that I bought, just in case we go down again.
Oh.
It's a regular healing potion.
It's best if you keep hold of it. I mean,
I can't do much with it if I fall unconscious again.
yeah, but you're like the most mobile out of all of us. If someone goes down and I can't get to them in time, you'll be the only one who can.
That's a good point. And I take it back.
Plus, she's been making new ones all night.
I may have ruined one of them.
Oh, I hadn't put anything in that one yet. It's just dropped a vial is all. I can get a new one when we get back to Zora's domain.
I will take a look at everybody. How tired do they look?
Make an insight check versus any deception checks that that people want to use if they want to hide how tired or hurt they are.
Okay.
If you don't care how then feel free to roll.
Max is 16 at pretending he's totally awake, guys, honest.
I look okay, but on a scale of 1 to 10, or like 10 being very tired, I look, yes, very tired.
Renji's doing great.
Like, there's nothing in particular strange about Renji.
What are you talking about? Everything is fine.
Yeah.
Yes, everything is fine.
Yeah.
To be fair, you did get some sleep compared to the 2 that I'm looking at.
Yeah. Well, as far as Mara is concerned, she doesn't seem to have any, like, outward appearances of, like, she doesn't seem to have any marks under her eyes or anything that suggests that she hasn't, or that she's, like, really tired, but her movements are a little sluggish and she's speaking at a quieter register at the moment. So you theorize that she might be a bit tired, at the very least. Max, on the other hand, well, how is Max feeling?
Max is acting awake, but just looking at him, you can just see, yeah, he hasn't slept. He does have the bags under his eyes.
Okay. Hikan makes a note in his book that he totally doesn't have, but he still makes a mental note that keep an eye on everybody. He'll get ready to pack up and head out.
Okay. All right.
Does going without sleep guarantee me some exhaustion?
Yes, it gives you 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Exhaustion sucks, but, you know,
Yep.
rules.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you kind of you begin to pack up and chip through the as you begin to chip through the ice webbing that conceals the cave, you take a look outside. It is still snowing. It's hasn't let up in any sense of the word. Yeah.
I don't like this mountain.
Okay.
I don't like this either.
Upwards and onwards. And Hikan will try to ford a path to the best of his ability.
Okay. Make me a survival check.
Absolutely. Have I been here long enough for Wanderer to take into effect yet?
Remind me what Wanderer does?
I have an excellent memory for maps and geography, recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you, and I can find food and fresh water is what it is, but it's more like, wait, we've already been that way, so it's more of a...
Yeah, so roll with advantage.
Excellent. Survival, it's 24.
Okay.
I'm on fire tonight.
Yeah.
That would help.
Put a man on fire and they'll be warm for the rest of their life.
Okay. So you, with camp packed up, you trudge onwards. In the daylight, it's oddly picturesque. In the little moments throughout the day that you spend heading up the mountain, looking out, in generally just trying to ford a path, while the most of it is you can barely see 20 feet in front of you. It's just a wall of white as the snow continues to fall relentlessly. But sometimes you get to certain points where it calms down a bit, and you see this beautiful picturesque view of rolling white hills and trees covered in snow, and it's just it's awe-inspiring, just the unbridled force of nature that surrounds this place. But soon enough, as you continue onwards, you find yourself back within the blizzard, having to kind of keep into a tight group not to lose each other and kind of lean against the wind in most instances. It can be oppressive at times, and often enough, you have like once or twice throughout the day you have to stop in order to kind of collect yourselves. As you're going on, I do need to get your passive scores up. I want everybody to make a perception check for me, please.
Absolutely.
Was it 22?
There's a 1, finally.
Ah,
Even with disadvantage, I'm still doing good, apparently,
yeah.
on this one.
15 for me.
Okay.
Watching out for that dragon.
Alright.
Ziden just hasn't had good perception for a while. He needs to get his prescription checked.
So as you kind of are trudging onwards, you get to a point on your journey in which you have to kind of cross this narrow comparatively pathway to go up the side of the mountain. It's about 20 feet wide, and there's a series of rocks here that suggests that at one point there was some kind of avalanche here that pushed some rocks down. But otherwise, the path is perfectly passable without having to bounce on anything or clamber over anything else. As you are going ahead, though, you do hear this rumble through the sky. One that might be mistaken at one point for thunder, but definitely upon reflection, and Max, you find yourself instinctively aware of it. You hear this growl that just
Get down!
I try and lower, like, flatten myself as best as I can.
Everybody make me a stealth check.
Looking into the snow.
Okay.
That's a 10.
It's 23.
Oh, I didn't roll very well. 14.
Okay. Okay, so you kind of just... Oh yeah, I need to roll for Mara, don't I? Because she's with you.
Oh, in that case, me and if I hear Max shout "Get down," I put a hand on Mara's shoulder and I cast invisibility on both of us.
Okay, all right. So that would be that would be advantage stealth checks. So it's 17. You just kind of shoo.
And another stealth for me. Still 14,
Okay.
but I'm invisible.
All right, so it's and you all kind of situate yourselves down. It's gonna roll thing. Okay. So as you kind of like duck for cover and like kind of dive into the piles of snow.
Max enters the stealth crouch, but not like near anything, which is why he has his head.
You hear upon the wind the wing beats of this colossal creature, at least compared to what you might have faced before. At first you see but nothing more than a silhouette in the whiteness, but it gets closer and closer and closer, and eventually in one big swoop, there's this like snow just kicks up all around you, and before you, mere 30 feet away, is an adult white dragon that just kind of like hovers in place as it scans over the area. It's like...
Does he look right at me?
He doesn't actually.
Oh, okay.
It's still kind of stormy and stuff. Make a perception check for me, Max.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Okay. All right. Yeah. You think there might be something up, but you're not sure what it is. But essentially, what this dragon does, as it kind of floats there, as it kind of scans the area, it just kind of like it doesn't seem to be looking at anyone or anything in particular. It seems to just scan left and right with its head, looking off into the middle distance. And then there's someone here. No. And just kind of sniffing in, as it tries to look over in different directions. Despite the fact that you can tell that it knows that someone is here, it can't seem to pick up on any of you at the moment. But it can tell from what it's smelling that there's somebody here. But eventually it just kind of eventually it lands, kind of hangs onto the edge of the cliff. Takes one last sniff.
How close is he at this point?
Well, the cliff is 20 feet wide, against a sheer-facing wall behind it. So he's quite close right now, and I will allow people to have another perception check if they want to.
That's
persuasion.
So it would be a 23 for perception.
Okay. 23, 17, 24, and 8. Okay. You notice, now that he's much closer and out of the snowdrift, what would be brilliant white scales have been marred with scars and gouges and cuts. And it suddenly dawns on you that this dragon, the reason why it isn't looking at any of you directly is the fact that its eyes are a milky white and there are scars over both. It appears the dragon is blind. And just kind of...
is just slowly standing a bit more upright.
Okay.
Partly because his knees hurt. The stealth crouch is painful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As you kind of begin to stand slowly up, he kind of just goes... looks in your vague direction, but not directly at you. Who's there?
Really want to say something, but I don't want to get us killed.
And he kind of
if anyone is going to say anything, it kind of should be Max.
I would like to slowly approach Max. I presume that we can see each other when we're doing stealth checks like these.
Yeah, you can see each other when you're doing stealth checks like this.
I could see you if I was looking at you and not completely enraptured by the dragon.
And I would like to. Hikan's doing the best that he can because he's such a good boy, and would like to give a reassuring hand squeeze to Max. And it's just like, I'm here kind of thing, being very quiet.
Okay, make another stealth check for me.
Okay.
Because, Max, you would know from your readings that dragons have blind sight, but considering at this point in time it's a storm and it's robbed of its normal eyesight, it's trying to sniff you all out and use its hearing. Okay, with 24, you managed to... You successfully, stealthily give Max the reassuring hand squeeze, as the dragon kind of continues to hang there and just kind of eventually just its teeth bare in a sneer, and it says, "One of Kriegstrom's pups is on the mountain," and pushes itself off the cliff with another kick up of snow and just glides away off into the mountain, possibly to hunt after whatever it says this Kriegstrom's pup is.
What?
To check, was that in Common or Draconic?
It was in Draconic, so the only person who understood it was Max, unless anyone else streaks Draconic.
Does that mean anything to me?
Make a Oh, now what would this be? You're a sorcerer, so I'd say make a charisma saving throw. 9.
Damn it.
Yeah. There's a familiarity to it, but you're not sure what.
It, it mentioned something called Creekstrom or Creekstrom.
Definitely Kriegstrom. Kriegstrom.
Does that ring a bell for me?
Make a history check. Will be a fairly tough one though.
Also, but it sounds like something a dark nut would be called.
Yeah, it sounds vaguely similar
22.
to Eisenfurter. Oddly enough, the name doesn't ring any bells. Like at first you think it sounds very similar to a Darknut naming convention, but it's you're not sure. It escapes you.
Also, as soon as the dragon goes out of view, Max falls to his knees.
I drop invisibility for myself and for Max, for Mara.
Okay. Max, you okay?
No. That's what they look like up close.
You know, I thought that it was just gonna be like a big Sebastian. I was very wrong, and I am sorry.
Oh,
Was he blind?
Yeah.
Seemed that way.
The books I've been reading said they can kind of see without sight. They called it blind sight, but it didn't seem to be using that.
Okay. And Hikan will stand finally, and then offer Max the hand to stand up. And Hikan will stick mostly with the party for the moment.
Takes him a bit, but eventually he'll accept the hand.
All right. Well, staying here isn't going to do us any good thinking about it, so we can try to talk and walk. Keep an eye out.
Walking would be good to I come back.
Yeah. Keep us warm, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
yeah. Let's go.
I brush off some of the snow, help people with prestidigitation to like get most of the snow away.
Okay. As you do so, you continue onwards up the mountain. I'll let you utilize your previously rolled survival check as you continue onwards. Up narrow paths and over rocky outcroppings. It's quite clear that despite the fact that there are areas of this mountain which are surprisingly walkable, there are still bits and pieces that will hamper your movement as you go. Yeah, it is a long trek. Occasionally you hear the much more distant roars of the dragon as it flies over its territory. It clearly on the hunt for something, but what is, well, on the hunt, I suppose, to a lesser extent, on the hunt for possibly you, but you're not sure. As you carry on, though, you do get to an area in the mountain which is kind of in this almost this basin, this kind of open area where a few trees seem to have started to grow in places, but it is mostly rock and snow and ice in these kind of jagged paths. The snow lets up a little bit here, where you can see a little further down into this little valley. But eventually, as you do so, let's see. Everybody, give me another perception check.
Okay.
Would you like a 24, sir? Because I have
think I got some snow in my eye.
It's okay. Some of us can see. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm worried about.
If there's anything Max is doing right, now, it's paying attention to things.
Yep.
Okay. As you head down through this valley, you begin to hear something. And it sounds like a conversation in common between two parties. It's a little ways ahead, though, so you can't make out any of the context of it, but you can definitely hear the sounds of people. It's
Put a hand
bizarre
up.
on
The
this.
circle down.
Okay.
I think I hear two. Not dragon people talking.
Okay.
Should we approach quietly?
I don't know.
I can move up ahead.
Well, Ziden has that thing he does when you get all sneaky.
You wish to be sneaky? You shall be sneaky.
Sneaky.
Might be
Okay.
a good
Um,
idea to at least see what we're dealing with, because I can't see him from here.
Does anyone want to come with me?
Okay.
I will
Everybody
accompany. Yeah, I will definitely accompany Renji if
Okay.
We'll approach too, but further back.
I put a hand on Hikan and cast invisibility
Okay.
on the both of us.
All right. So as
Awesome.
you, yeah. So as you,
Have a look in Renji's general direction before he goes and say, "Come back with him this time."
With a grin, I say no promises, and then I say,
I can hear that grin.
of course, I'm going to come back. Last time was a mistake. Yeah.
Okay. So you maneuver onwards. I want you to make me a stealth check with advantage with the pass without trace bonus, because it's still snow and snow crunches.
Okay, so plus 18.
Yeah.
What? That's a 23, and I rolled a 4 and a 5. So 23 and a 22 for the both of us.
Okay.
Yes.
23, 22.
So even with the snow not able to crunch or leave track, you're still not doing great.
Nope.
Yeah. So as you move up, it's still a really good roll though. As you move up, further ahead, in this kind of area, which more or less gets to near the other side of the basin, where there seemingly is a path that heads further into the mountain, you see a trio of people, two of which appear to be Lizalfos. They both appear to be wearing kind of this haphazard sort of studded leather armor, but but one of them has their right arm exposed, and the other one has their left arm exposed. And along their scales is this intricate kind of network of tattoos that run all the way from the shoulder to the tips of their fingers. On the opposite hands, they appear to have these heavy golden metallic gloves, which just kind of have these pipes and wires and stuff that go from the hand to the wrist, and kind of then integrate with kind of armor that goes up the rest of the arm. And they appear to be standing in kind of a mirror fashion opposite this big hulking river Zora who's wearing this hide armor and appears to be holding like a morning star over one shoulder. Easily the river Zora is twice the size of either of the Lizalfos, and doesn't give ground, but neither do the Lizalfos in turn. And they appear to be having this conversation in common, which by the time you get there, the River Zora simply says, "I have told you now, since you got here, you are not welcome here." And the Lizalfos say, "We have a job to do," and the other one says, "Yes, a job. We're not leaving until it is done. Yes, not leaving. You can cooperate if you wish, or you'll be in our way." And the River Zora just kind of like begins to sneer, baring his pointed teeth, as they continue having this back and forth, neither of which seem to be backing down.
As I hear this, I try and glance around, knowing that Hikan is invisible. I'm risking it, and I whisper, "Hikan, do you want to help out? And who should we help out?" And I have no idea if he can hear it from where he is.
Hey, how far away are you?
I would probably actually, because we turned invisible so we wouldn't get separated, I've been holding on to Renji's cloak.
Okay.
But what I want to look for is I'm looking for insignias that I might have seen in Castletown on either of the parties.
All right. Make a perception check.
Absolutely. 23. There we go.
Nice. You guys are rolling on fire tonight. Okay, so it appears that neither of the Lizalfos seem to have any insignia that you recognize. Like, you try and find it in the tattoos on their arms, and you can't seem to find anything like that. Oddly enough, despite most things, their scales are this kind of silvery sort of color, as they stare down the River Zora. The River Zora himself, in addition to the hide armor that he seems to be equipped with, bears this kind of sash that goes from his left shoulder to his right hip, and that seems to bear a familiar insignia of a pair of crossing rapiers over a shield.
Okay. Since I took a closer look at the tattoos, could I make an insight check to see if they remind me of the Sea Wraith tattoos?
Sure.
Okay. 20.
They don't appear to be anything like the Sea Wraith tattoos.
Okay.
You mentioned these rapiers?
So I will point out the sash. I'll lean into Renji's ear and just go, "Look at the Zora's sash," as I try to point to it, and then remember I'm invisible. And then that would be Risha and her father's insignia, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hearing Alvarance as a robot. Is that on my end?
It might be on your end. I'm hearing him perfectly fine on mine.
I'm hearing him fine as well.
Oh no.
He pointed out the River Zora's sash to you. If you could hear that.
Based on his silence, I don't think he can hear
Okay,
that.
now I'm gonna wait for the disconnect noise.
Yeah. Well, I won't be able to hear it because the notification things disable themselves. There's a bad connection. Okay.
There you go. And back.
You okay now? Oh no.
Technical difficulties time.
This is what it feels like from this side.
It's not 2 minutes past 9 yet.
I know. It's 2 minutes to 8. It's an exactly an hour and 4 minutes too early.
Oh no.
Also-
Craig's having issues too.
Oh, is Craig having issues? Failed to join. Oh no. Well, it's a good thing I'm recording this on Bandicam too.
It says try changing the server region.
Ah, that might be it. No, server settings.
Thank you for the suggestion, bot.
Yeah. I'm gonna change it to Europe. Let's see how this goes.
As soon as you did that, I disconnected again.
Yeah. If you want me to stop. Oh, thankfully Craig is still recording despite not being in the thing, so I'll ask him to get back in.
Wow. That's impressive.
Now recording.
Welcome
Ow.
back, Craig. Oh dear. All right. Apparently Netherlad is on his phone. So
Might be an issue on his end.
yeah, we will continue onwards, and we will kind of.
Other people speak and see if changing the server region fucked you up.
Hello, how is my voice? Does
Yup.
it sound normal?
Your voice is fine.
Hello, I am
And you're
here.
fine too.
You're fine
Okay.
too. Oh, he's restarting his PC.
Ah.
Oh no. Okay.
That's an extreme troubleshooting.
Yeah. All right.
Ultimate tool.
So, while that is happening, Hikan, after informing Renji of
Hang
Oh, yeah, he's not there. Oh, there we go. Are you back?
I am back.
Okay, alright, so, last thing Hikan did was inform you of the insignia on the River Zora's sash.
So yeah, I pointed it out to you. I told you to look at it, but then I remembered that you couldn't see me because I'm invisible. So
Right. I am going to try and see if I can spot the insignia that Hikan is has described, and also trying to figure out if I have any recollection of it specifically.
Right.
So then, history or perception?
Perception. First.
Perception 20. Oh, that's with advantage.
But it's still the first roll, so it's fine.
It's still the first roll. Yeah, it's a 25.
All right, 25. Yeah, you two see the insignia of the two swords crossing over a shield, which you would know to be the insignia of Lady Risha's family, of Lord Grastel
Okay.
and stuff like that.
In that case, with that information, I whisper to Hikan that Zora is part of Lady Risha's family. Guard, estate, entourage. He's part of her retinue, and maybe we should deal with these Lisselvos.
okay. Do you want to go back and tell everyone then, and I can see if I can diffuse the situation?
Yeah. Don't do anything too fast, but yeah. And I head back to the others to.
How do I drop the invisibility?
You don't.
It's entirely it's either wait a minute or Renji drops it.
It's a duration an hour.
Oh,
You could punch a rock.
It's not greater invisibility.
I know I
that's a
can
minute.
punch a rock. Hikan doesn't know you can punch a rock.
If you make an attack, it breaks, right?
Yeah.
If you start doing anything hostile, then it'll drop.
Okay. So yeah, Hikan will punch the rock they've been hiding behind.
Okay. Yep. Okay, you're visible. Yep. Fine. That's
okay.
great.
All right, so you're now visible but still behind a rock.
Yep.
I head back to the others to kind of carefully mention the situation and that they should be prepared to fight.
Okay. All right, so you trudge on backwards, leaving Hikan behind the rock.
So as I am behind the rock, what I'll do is make myself known, and I will very carefully, quietly approach the group. I have seen Renji show off the Sheikah insignia enough times at this point to
Yeah.
when he's trying to. Yeah, so I will move the cape so that way at least half of the eye can be seen on my cloak as I
Okay.
approach.
All right. So as you approach with the insignia prepared, the conversation stops as the River Zora looks at you and squints and then frowns as the two Lizzlefoss kind of turn back to you with their in a kind of mirrored fashion, before kind of like circling on opposite sides of each other so that their exposed arms are facing each other's. And they say, "Ooh, hello.
Hi. Those are really cool gloves.
Where are your friends? Yes, where are your friends?"
Insight check? Because
Sure.
I've never seen these people before, so how do they know I'm traveling with people?
Well, they looked at you and thought you looked like you're someone who would have friends.
Aw.
It's a compliment.
Okay, natural one.
You're not sure.
How many of those have you had today?
A lot.
Oh.
I'm doing really well or really poorly. There's
Yeah.
no in between today.
Roll 20, why?
I'm bringing the others as fast as possible.
Well, I'm a bit
Matt
faster
is-
than they are. They'll be here shortly. What's up?
Matt is not being subtle about approaching.
So as you say that, they both kind of raise their arms in unison and sort of like go to fist bump each other with the bare hands, and they both say in unison, "Then the contract begins," and they do so. Bonk. They
I was
fist
gonna
bump
try to
each.
throw a dart in between the fists.
Yeah. Oh,
Try to
okay.
impede
Ooh.
it, yeah.
That's cool. Okay. Roll an attack roll.
It's a 24.
All right.
Nice.
So, you time it with such perfection that the dart flies between them, and they the fists make contact with the dart as it hits as they should make contact, and stops the contact, and they kind of look at each other like, interesting. And we're gonna roll initiative, and I'll put you on the
Yeah.
battle map.
How far away are we at this point?
I appreciate that they appreciate how cool it was.
Let's see.
Oh boy, I'm gonna be helpful.
I'm gonna turn this down because it can be a bit loud.
I have no spell slots left.
Fine, you've got a sword.
Yes, I've got a sword. Oh, that is still a 20. But I should take off the advantage thing.
Alright, I'm gonna move this down here.
I do like that we all have different numbers for our tiebreaker.
Yeah.
That's great.
Alright, so I need to do Mara's initiative. Gets a 3. And then
With my natural 1, I still go before her.
natural 20 for the Lizzlefoss. And then 7 for this guy. Alright, okay.
Wow. These guys are speedy.
They are fucking quick.
Oy.
Alright. So, the initiative order is the Lizzlefoss, then it is Ziden, then Renji, then Hikan, then the River Zora, then Max, and then finally Mara. Alright, so, as on their turn, what they're going to do is they're going to use their action in order to properly initiate the thing they were going to do. So they pull their fists apart to let the dart drop, and bonk, they actually manage to make contact with their fists. And as they do, the tattoos on their arms kind of sizzle into life, with this bright white light, and there's kind of this vibrating quality about the both of them now, as they then utilize their newfound speed to zip over to here, or zip in two opposite directions. And I'm gonna roll hide for them. If you want to make a perception check as they vanish out, or as they zip off into two different directions.
It's only a 10.
Okay.
1 for me.
Are we all making it, or just Hikan?
All
If
making
we're
it.
all watching.
Yeah.
This is 17.
17. Okay. Alright.
Okay.
Alright. So as they run off, Max, you managed to catch sight of this one over here. Like he
The
seems.
one on the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was off the screen when you did the thing.
Oh right. Oh sorry. I mean the one on the one on the right. So I'll ping him again.
Okay.
Yeah. The other one, however, his stealth roll seems to have been high enough for him to vanish into thin air. And
Can I use my reaction to point in the direction of the one I saw?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. That's their turn. Ziden.
Up there.
Well, that's up, I assume.
Yeah, that is a 10-foot, like a 45-degree angle, 10-foot up.
I was trying to decide whether or not my giant elk form would be able to treat that as just difficult terrain.
It's big enough, so I'd say sure.
Let's see from there. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do. Ziden will transform into a giant elk, which I still can't control. Damn it, giant.
Damn it. I thought I took care of this. I
I
need
can
to.
generate it, I just can't control it.
Yeah, I think it's.
It's
There
too
we go.
powerful.
There we go.
It is too powerful. It can climb up these small ledges.
You should have control of it now.
I think I do. So then I will charge up to here,
Okay.
and I will use the charging ram attack.
Unfortunately, a
That doesn't look very
12. Yeah, 12 is not a hit. As it kind of maneuvers around your attacks.
Oh well, at least it's probably spooky for him.
Reggie.
Right. Question.
Yeah.
Do I see the thing after Max points out where it is?
Yeah, so you can all see this one over here, the one that Ziden's
Okay.
elk form has gone after. The other one has rolled high enough in his stealth to avoid sight of all of you.
Okay. Then I step over here and I move over here. And... Or wait, no. I'm going to move as far east as possible.
Okay.
That will be here. And I'm going to try and shoot an Eldritch Blast past Elk Ziden and against these the rightmost Lizalfos.
Okay.
That is 1. That's a 10 to hit, so
That's
probably
a
not.
miss.
And a 27 to hit for 10 points of damage.
Okay, nice hit.
Good.
Like spins around to avoid the first blast and then gets caught in the shoulder with the second one. But yeah, nice work. Anything else you want to do on your turn?
Not right now.
Okay, Hikan.
Alright, so taking a look at this fellow here, could I make it up that 10-foot cliff without like as part of my movement or things like that, or?
If you make me a fairly easy acrobatics check, then yes.
Alrighty. Acrobatics, okay, yeah, I'm good.
So natural 20.
Okay, so I can reach behind him
Mm.
because I am speedy
Science.
lad as well.
Yep.
I dragged him. Oh no! Roll 20, please. Will it not?
Can you only go one
It
square
is-
at a time?
It is not letting me go up the cliff.
Oh, I'll put you where you need to go. So there you are.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, he's there. I don't know if that is considered flanking or not.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm gonna punch this guy.
A lot?
Yeah, 4 times.
Uh-huh.
So we burn a key point for that. Unarmed strike. That is a 19.
That is a miss.
Okay.
That's a hit.
27. Excellent. Could you make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
Okay. Give me a sec. Constitution saving throw, you say?
Yeah, 14.
A nat 20s.
Okay. Alrighty, and then that is one more. That's a natural 20 for 13, and another Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
He does not look hardy in comparison.
A 19.
Damn it. And then one more unarmed strike. 27 for 10,
Okay.
and one more Constitution saving throw.
I will stun you!
I was
9, there
stunned.
we go.
There we go. He is stunned until the end of my next turn.
Awesome.
And then that is turn.
Okay. Alright. Let's see. I just need to find a correct thing for stunned. This'll do. Alright, okay, so on the River Zora's turn, let's see. How much movement does this guy have? Okay. So he's going to yeah, he's gonna heft his Morning Star in 2 hands. He's going to he's gonna bonus. He's gonna dash over here to try and menace this guy, and then
Doesn't he have to get past the ledge?
Yes, he does. I'll have him do a. Actually, no. I won't have him do that. I'll put him back here. What can he do? You know what? He's a River Zora, so he's gonna.
Going through the snow.
He's going to open his mouth and what's the range on this? 30 feet. So he needs to move closer. He needs to move over here. So he's going to move over there. He's going to open his maw. He's going to spit a gob of flame at this guy. It's a 19 to hit, which is a miss, as the small, like, baseball-sized ball of flame just kind of slams into a pile of snow and hisses, and it goes...
So he shot at this guy.
He shot at that guy, yeah.
So that's a 21 to hit.
He doesn't have advantage.
He does.
Yes, he
'cause
does.
they're
He's
stunned.
stunned.
Oh, he's stunned! Oh, then it hits. The ball of flame hits at the thing. Nice, thank you for reminding me. Alright, Max.
I can't get up there. These guys seem to be going fast. Renji, would you like to go fast?
Sure. Yes.
You cast haste on Renji.
Thank you.
And how can I get up here? This rocky bit?
Acrobatics or acrobatics to bound up, or athletics to climb up?
I have to make a skill check. You know what? No, I'll stay down here and keep Mara safe.
Okay. Mara will draw her hammer and stay right there until ordered otherwise. So that little foss in question is stunned and kind of is getting his bearings a bit. The other one, however, is going to come out of hiding. So I need to get him over to there. Wink. Apparently I haven't got it set up properly so that he's unable to have his own health bar, but I'll take care of that another day. He's going to full force dash over He's gonna hop and slide on this incline, and he's gonna flex the fingers in the gauntleted hand, and you can see bolts of electricity just run up and down the metal, and he's gonna try and swipe at the back of this giant elk.
Was on a ledge?
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah.
He's clipping.
Let's see. So I need to get that sheet up. Let's see. A stunned creature doesn't grant flanking, does it?
No.
No. Okay.
Can't do anything.
Yeah. All right. So it's only going to do this one thing. 19 to hit for 11 bludgeoning and 3 lightning as he punches you in the back of the leg with a lightning glove.
That's a hit.
Okay. And then he's going to do it again because he has multi-attack.
That's a hit.
Okay, so just a further 15. All right. And then it's Ziden's go.
So normally the elk can only use its hooves on a prone enemy. Given this guy is on a ledge below me, can I use my hooves on him?
I'd say yes, but at disadvantage because it's like in a weird angle, I'd say. He is lower than you, but yeah.
The AC they have, that'll never hit.
Mm.
In which case, I'll just ram top one.
Okay.
Ah.
That is sadly a miss.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Renji.
Right. I am going to try and assist my elky friend, and I'm going to try and hit this guy from the back.
Okay.
And I'm going to be using my rapier. Would I, from this point, have advantage?
I'd say yeah.
Okay, then it's double advantage for me.
Oh yeah, Elven accuracy.
Yeah, Sheikah accuracy, yes.
Oh yeah,
I am going to hit first with my rapier. That's a 23 for 10 piercing damage.
yeah. Okay.
And for my second attack, I'm going to do it again. That's a 27 for 6 piercing damage.
Alright. Okay.
And don't really have anything. Using Rod of the Pact Keeper. That's an action, right? To get a spell slot back.
I think so. Give me a sec. Oh wow, it's not in my compendium, weirdly enough. Which is weird.
I have it as an action while holding the rod.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
So I'm not going to do that.
Alright.
I am, however,
Uh-huh.
going to use cunning action to disengage.
Okay.
Wait, no, I'm not going to do that.
Alright.
Elky friend might want that.
I don't know, if he hits me again, I'll turn back to the normal friend.
Mm,
Then again, you actually hit him, so he probably won't focus on me.
who knows?
You might be doing that anyway. Damn it, no, maybe not now.
Okay.
I'm going to say that.
Okay. Alright. You can't.
I'm gonna dance a little bit to the right there, and then I'm going to hit this guy. I'm gonna attempt to hit him 4 times.
Okay.
That's a
That's
natural 20 for 12.
Yep.
It's a 15, which misses.
Uh-huh.
It's a 16, which misses. And a 22 for 7.
Okay. All right.
No, I've only got 2 more key points left, so I'm gonna stand right here and just be in my ready stance as his stun ends.
Okay. Sweet. Then it's the Riverzora's go, who's going to, let's see, 5, 15, 25. Actually, no, hold on. I need to be fair and have him do an athletics check to get up. He nat 20s it. He friggin' just puts the Morning Star in his mouth and clambers up the thing in a fury. So it's 25 to get there, 30, 35. He's going to draw his Morning Star. He's going to use a bonus action to, like, you can see like the already hulking muscles just kind of expand slightly as he hulks out, goes for a massive big golf swing, and is going to attempt to hit him with a Raging Morning Star attack. It's 27 to hit for 9 plus 2, which is 11 damage. Let's see. And that'll be his go. Max.
Max was never told not to make loud noises on the side of the mountain.
Oh no.
To be fair, one of us, me, doesn't know any better.
Maybe if I come here, look out. Line that doesn't hit Renji or Mysterious Riverzora. Hikan, you have evasion, right?
Yep, hit me.
And Ziden, you have tons of health bars, so...
Oh god, the pain! Betrayal!
Fine.
The betrayal!
It's a 4th level lightning bolt
Okay.
for 33 damage.
Alright. Okay, so dex save for the one that's closest to you. Gets a 17. And
Tough.
then dex save for the one that's furthest away. Gets a 25.
Tough.
Alright. Half of 33 is 6.
16. Rounded down.
Okay.
And then it's Ziden and myself that have to make dex saves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a 24, so I'm good.
Okay.
Well, after the electrocuting pain, Ziden turns back to human form.
Alright.
Oh god, they can use lightning?
Mara on their turn is going to remain in spot at the moment because she's like, I can't really do anything here. These aren't made of ice. I can't hit them with my hammer. So she's going to remain where she is at the moment. The Lizzlefoss on their turn, now that they're free to act and see that they're clearly outnumbered, they're both going to use the disengage action, and with their hasted speed and extra actions, they're going to use whatever other actions they have left in order to dash and get the fuck out of there.
You better run.
They head southward, both at a speed of let's see, extra action dash 60. That's like, yeah, that's like 100. That's a lot of movement. They are, by the time you kind of realize, like, as the dust of the snow kind of settles down, they are gone.
Sonic music
That
starts
would be
playing.
120 feet because they have to use one of their actions to disengage. Do they have the ability to use a bonus action to dash?
You theorize as such.
Shit. Never mind. I was about to be like, I run after him and I throw the lightning spear. But I cannot make that.
Also, you might throw it off the side of the mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long way down. As kind of the dust settles, the Riverzora kind of stands tall. This hulking 7.5-foot tall Riverzora just kind of looks down at the spot where the Lizzlefoss was and follows it slowly to where it went and just spits on the ground. And says, cannot stand assassins. Ugh.
Assassins?
That would be
Renji.
Those two.
Renji, brace yourself, and the magic making him fast.
Fatigue for all.
I slowly start walking along the ledge to get to the stairs carved into the ledge. I am darn
Oh,
tired.
wow. Okay.
Did they say who they were after?
Interesting.
They did not
There's
mention.
something. There's something here on the map that's preventing me from walking through it.
Yeah,
Ah, that's weird.
it's like a blockage.
Yeah, it's like there's a wall here.
And here,
I think I know what it was, because I remember redesigning this encounter a while ago, and it
Ah.
involved dynamic lighting. And that's the reason why you couldn't
Oh.
move. There we go.
it's the dynamic lighting, right?
Deadly, deadly dynamic lighting.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, as you'll kind of arrive back and ask assassins, he goes, they did not say what their target was, but I'm assuming, considering their immediate hostile reaction to your presence, that you would be it.
Wait. That
Who-
is weird.
Who were they?
They call themselves the Silver Brothers, two of the finest sellswords in all of the kingdom, from what I have been informed. Littlefoss tend to have very unique and effective combat tactics when they are in pairs, and they are kind of the tippy top of that. They came here saying they were hunting a target, and I told them to leave. They did not immediately do so, which got on my nerves.
Hmm.
So who knows that we are climbing this mountain?
Hikan will say in Sheikah, the Twilight Cartel with a question mark.
I glance over at Hikan and nod, then turn back to the River Zora and say, on second thought, we have some inkling. May I ask your name, Master Zora?
My name. I am Jorgen Bazd.
It is very nice to meet you, Master Bazd. I am Renji Vox, heir of Nihilus Vox. We are. I am from Castletown. Me and my companions are here in search of a miscreant known as Flamgo. I mean, have you heard this name?
Flamgo. You
Bird
have a
person, looks like a flamingo, whatever that is.
bird person. Oh, yes, I remember there being a bird person at the manor. At least briefly. He went left. I do not know if he is still on the mountain. You may want to speak to the housemaster.
That would be a very, very good idea. Hope we can avail ourselves of his hospitality. As I like shiver in my parka.
It would be uniquely cruel to throw people out on the doorstep in a place like this. Come, I shall show you the way to the house.
Thank you.
As you and he kind of moves over to a pile of snow that next to which is a nice big pack of something, which he slings over his shoulder, and will lead you onwards down a path along the roads, or along the ravines and crags of Snow Peak. As you go, you catch one errant glimpse of how far up you are as the snow begins to die down just a tiny bit. You can see so far Like, you can see the curvature of the earth from how far up you are. And you're not sure whether or not it was the adrenaline of what you have just encountered on your way up, or just a general, or whether or not you feel like maybe you've encountered it before. But it's only now when you see how far up you are that you get a little bit lightheaded.
I appreciate the description that you're giving.
Yeah.
However, given what we know of Zelda's world,
Yeah.
and the fact that we have maps of it, and the fact that it is based on games with like vector graphics map data, isn't Hyrule and the world that it's on flat?
We already established earlier that we have a globe map of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It was a couple of sessions ago, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for this Breath of the Wild
You
now,
guys had to explain to Max the shape of the world because he didn't know.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. That, and it being like you seeing the literal edge of the world sort of thing would be anticlimactic. So it's yeah. But yeah, as you continue onwards, like, you see, like, to the south, you see the rolling countrysides and forests that belong to Hyrule, and then to the north you see what appears to be basically an untamed wilderness, like a place that is like full of still full of trees and stuff like that, but it's, like, you look at one, you look at the other, you find that Hyrule seems significantly more tame at a glance. It's odd. But yeah, you continue onwards, and after roughly 20 minutes worth of wandering and maneuvering through different areas of these mountains, you begin to make a slight descent, as eventually you find this massive cavern, which seems to go on forever downwards. But perched precariously above this cavern, on like a spire of rock, appears to be this regal-looking manor, almost like a fort at first glance, but it, like, with the kind of pitched roofs and everything, it definitely appears to be some kind of mansion that has just been constructed in this dangerous area of the world. And Jorgen, he kind of like offers, like, gestures a hand over to it and says, "That would be the manor house."
Construction of this must have taken quite a while.
From what I understand, it took roughly 5 years.
Is that a long time?
Well, I mean, generally for this kind of work, you would need. I wonder if Renji knows this kind of information.
in a way, it
Well-
sounds sort of impressive given its location.
How long was Lady Risha's dad gone?
You remember meeting Lord Grastel, like, when you first moved to Castletown, which I think how old were you when you were there? Was it 6?
Yeah, like I've been in Castletown for a little bit more than 10 years. So yeah, 6 when I got there.
Yeah, you met him once, and he was pretty much on his way out. He was in the, like, he was attending to royal business as he was handing over responsibilities to his then 18-year-old daughter, Lady Risha, who ultimately like, was, up to the task, albeit a bit nervous. He was a jovial sort, and like he kind of had like an air of confidence about him. And when people were asking, why are you going to do, where are you going, what are you doing, what's your thing, he said, it's a secret. And it turns out it was this after all this time. But it still baffles you as to why anybody would want to make a home here. It's so miles out of the way. You would have expected something like the house to have been built on flatter, safer ground, and then the mountain to have risen up around it, or something like that. Not for it to be built freshly upon one of the deadliest peaks in the kingdom.
Mhm.
And also,
Especially
there's a dragon.
Yeah, there's a dragon in your backyard.
Out
Or
of character, I understand this man on a personal level.
But yeah, like you remember seeing him then. So he's been gone from the kingdom for roughly 10 years, maybe a bit more.
Okay. I look over at was Jorgen, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I look over at him and say, I am not too familiar with Snowhead etiquette. Would it be possible for you to introduce us?
Well, I shall certainly do my best. But as far as etiquette is concerned, there is no social tradition that rests up here. It is, how you say, isolated.
That it is.
Whatever mannerisms and etiquette and decorum that Lord Grastel brought up with him here is all that there is. Unless, of course, you want to speak to the dragon, at which point it's a different story entirely.
Any information you could share on that end? Because we had a bit of an encounter with the dragon.
And you're
Coming
still
up.
alive.
Well, it couldn't see us.
We're a very sneaky bunch sometimes.
Sneakiness. Very well. That makes sense. All our interactions with, I think its name is Tundranex, have mostly been hostile.
It has allowed this construction. How did that happen?
I am unsure myself. Perhaps for the 5 years that it was being constructed, Tundranex had other things to worry about. Possibly stealing from other things closer to Zora's domain. Maybe even just hunting in its own icy home. But it wasn't until Grastel was starting to move personal effects up to the mountains in order to add them to his new home that it started to take notice. It saw this construction made of stone and iron that contained these valuables that it definitely wanted. It just attacked when we were just trying to figure out things back home. And, well, it hasn't attempted any diplomatic missions of its own accord. We haven't tried ourselves, after all.
Well, if somebody wanted to try, where would they go?
I'm not sure myself. Because we have not bothered to seek it out, we do not know where it lairs. It just claims the mountain range as its own. And as he says that, you manage to find yourselves before the immense wooden doors that seal off the entrance of the of Snow Peak Manor, and he pushes them open, and inside you see a long hallway. With a rolling red carpet that goes into a wider area, and along the walls of the initial part of the hallway you see big suits of armor standing to attention as you head inside. Jorgen holds the door open for everyone as you kind of head in before he closes it back up and then puts a bolt on just to make sure it stays closed. And thankfully, while it's not immediately warmer, it is, well, well, it's better than outside. But when you get inside, you can see that the foyer appears to have a set of stairs on either side at the larger end, at the end of the hallway, and you see pictures of like beautifully painted pictures of these nobles, or you assume nobles. They're definitely Hylians who are dressed in finery, illuminated by candles that hang from chandeliers, and yeah, Jorgen says, come this way. You'll probably find yourself warmer in the parlor. I'll drop this off into the kitchen and then make the master aware of your arrival.
Thank you. Also, based on the clothing, appearance, symbolism in the paintings, would I recognize who these people are?
Not immediately. So your first, like, as you glance at them, you kind of assume that they're probably members of Grastel's family, possibly ancestors or extended relatives in different areas, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, he leads you onwards straight to a pair of double doors at the opposite end of the hall, leading you past the stairs and opening those doors as well into another room, which has this kind of setup of a couple of sofas and a nice big wingback chair that sit around a fireplace. There is, from where you're standing, there is another set of doors to your left. There's one set of doors closer to that one on the opposite wall from you, and there's another set of doors to the right. Jorgen heads through those last sets of doors, and as he opens it, you can see just through those doorways a stone area which seems to appear to be a kitchen, especially as a sweet smell seems to waft in from that area. It is nice and warm in this room here, as he disappears into this other room and leaves you guys alone. The other features of this room include several bookshelves and what appears to be a globe that sits in one corner.
The jackets and all of the winter stuff instantly is off.
I'm trying to
You're free
remember.
of the sleeves.
I'm trying to remember. Didn't we find something in Sarkosa that pointed us in this direction as well? Something else?
Yeah, there was the letter from Lord Fairwind
Right,
that
yeah.
was pointing specifically towards a contact in this area.
Okay. So I remember becoming something other than Flamgo as well.
Yeah. I'd like to look through the books to see if I see the word dragon.
Okay.
Can I join you?
If you're joining me, I would like to give Max advantage searching through books.
Alright, make an investigation check then.
It's a 2. Or a 6. Actually, no. It would
No.
counteract my disadvantage with still 2.
Okay. Oh yeah. So you have a search through. It's mainly just like one set of shelves has a series of encyclopedias and non-fiction books. It's mostly to do with like historical conflicts and like tactical thinking and all that kind of stuff. And then there's fictions, which are mainly just adventure books, like of the kind of like mature reading variety, but not of like it's not like a set of saucy books. It's more just like a graphic detail combat sort of books.
I grab the Encyclopedia D and see if there's anything about old battles that involve dragons.
Okay.
I do not feel compelled to steal the books.
Oh dear. But yeah, as you kind of situate yourselves in this area, you begin scanning through the room. Does anybody else examine anything else in the room as you wait?
Ziden will look at some books as well.
Okay.
If
There's
it's
Carry on.
if there's enough time, I would like to take a short rest.
And once I'm done looking at the books, if there's a window, I'm gonna go stand by it and look at the sky, because there's a dragon outside somewhere.
Oddly enough, there isn't a window in this room.
Okay, then I'm going to pace.
Okay.
Can I take a short rest while I'm reading?
Sure.
Okay,
Though you-
just making sure.
Honestly, I'm trying. Yeah, I remember short rests in this game are like 20 minutes, so that's fine.
S is going to pace and try not to look anxious.
Yeah. As you kind of sit and wait for 20 minutes, it is thankfully nice and warm in this room. The fire that is going is still kind of burning rather warmly, in spite of the fact that even if you don't tend to it, it's still burning nicely. But after about half an hour worth of waiting, the doors to the kitchen open up again, and Jorgen walks in, this time without the bag. And following him are two figures, one of which appears to be this 6 foot even clanking humanoid. This sort of, or the suggestion of a humanoid, but it's definitely all made of metal, with these kind of like purple sort of glass discs over where its eyes should be. And it's kind of like moving in with a silver tray in its hands. It's going clank, 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 clank. And behind it appears to be a broad-shouldered, 5'11" Hylian male with this swept-back hair that appears to be kind of this blondish color that seems to be going a little bit grey, at least in some ways. He is dressed in a dark blue fine suit, and as he kind of enters, he closes the door behind you, and Renji, you recognize this man as Lord Arthur Grastel, the father to Lady Risha Grastel. And Lord Grastel kind of looks over and says, well, I will not mince words. I was not expecting guests on the mountain today. Welcome to my home. I am humbled that you would brave the mountain to come and visit me. If any of you haven't taken a seat yet, he says, please take a seat.
I actually stood up when he came in and would have bowed, like as properly as I would be able to do.
Yeah, Mara does much the same. But yeah, otherwise, as he says this, the construct, it appears, moves over to the coffee table that's situated in the middle of these sofas and chairs, and just places the tray on it. There appears to be what appears to be a stainless silver teapot, which from the spout you can see is steaming slightly, and a nice set of not ivory, porcelain-looking teacups. Yeah, Grass says, so, might I ask, who might you be who has come to visit my home?
I am probably still bowed and say, my name is Renji Vox, heir of Nihilus Vox from Castletown.
Ah, you're the son of Nihilus.
Yes, indeed.
Excellent. You travel far. You're very, very capable. And he kind of like turns to the rest of you. It's like, and who might you be?
Hikan will go ahead and go next and wave. It's like, hi, I'm Hikan. I'm a friend of Renji's.
Nice to meet you, Hikan.
Ziden will nod, say, I'm Ziden. I'm with him.
Very well. Nice to meet you too. And he kind of like turns to see Max, who as I'm understanding it, is probably still pacing.
Yes. I was going to go last.
Okay. Oh, right, yeah, Mara's still here.
Indeed.
Mara says, excuse me, Mara Fletcher, Royal Librarian? He says, oh, yes. They got a new librarian. Did you start there for long? Is that... No, I've only been there for a couple months. Is that... Oh, okay, wow. Such a rapid and interesting career change, I suppose. And your friend? He turns to look at Max.
Just Max.
Very well.
Immediately bad facing.
Grastel then moves over and sits in the wingback chair. Says, so, Jorgen tells me that you ran afoul of a pair of assassins on the way up, and you also encountered our local dragon problem. Though I imagine that probably wasn't your intention when you were on your way here.
No, it was not. In fact, we came here in search of a wizrobe called Flamgo.
Oh, yes, the wizrobe.
I take it you have had dealings with this wizrobe?
Calling it dealings would be a very charitable case. We had a conversation, truthfully. As I understand it, he came up the mountain by himself, knocked on the door. Artemis answered it and asked what he was looking for, and apparently he wanted to sell us some form of animal, something that would provide extra security, as well as various other things that would be unique and capable for the environment that we are currently in. We were confused at the sales pitch, truth be told, especially considering the location and how far he'd gone to travel, but from what I understand, Maslow, one of our scout here, had deemed it wise to escort him back to where the wizrobe had come from, which was a little ways further down the mountain, but not strictly off the mountain. Maslow says that he had set up some kind of hut down there, but I'm not sure what other customers he's hoping to achieve, unless, of course, he's trying to add to his stock with the local fauna, which at this point is consisting mostly of angered elementals and large white wolves, not counting the dragon, of course.
You're saying it as if he's still there, is that correct?
Well, that encounter did happen 3 days ago, so unless he's decided to move on immediately, he might still be down there.
That is the best news we've heard in a while. Yes, we've had dealings with this individual before. He does seem to capture exotic wildlife. However, he does not do that in the most humane way. We actually liberated a couple of creatures, including a Lionel, if you are to believe it.
There's kind of like a pause on his face as he looks to Jorgen, and Jorgen looks to him and is like, I do not believe you. How could something so scrawny and pathetic capture a Lionel?
I think it's part of in the name Wizrobe. They have some sort of magical talents. Physicality isn't everything.
I
think that Lionel said he was tricked, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yes. Still, that is a remarkable feat to trick a Lionel, especially in most circumstances. Well, if perchance you are hoping to capture him, I would recommend not going back out immediately. He Grassel kind of gives a glance over to all of you and says, you do seem to be a bit worse for wear and could probably do with resting somewhere that actually has a bed, perhaps. We do have some spare rooms here. while we weren't anticipating guests, the house was built with possible guests in mind if the trip up the mountain ever became safer than it was.
I personally would be very appreciative of some rest.
Could I try a history check to see if Hikan remembers that there was someone else on the mountain that we might be after in character?
Sure.
Okay. 13.
Nice.
Okay.
With the 13, you believe, you remember that there was possibly a there was a potential target on the mountain. Like Fairwind's note mentioned that he theorized that there was that the other two major heads of the Twilight Cartel were there was possibly one that might have been close to Castletown and another one that might have been coming from Zora's domain, maybe even from Snowhead.
So who's all here, just so we know and we don't freak out if there's other guests? You said that there was your scout and there's you and there is the big robot man there, and you said there was a scout?
Oh, yes. Well, there is myself. There is Jorgen, who typically takes care of most of the heavy lifting as well as going hunting for the local wildlife in order to sustain our stock of food piles and things. There is Maslow, who is our scout, as it were. He keeps an eye on the local environment and is probably the most mobile out of all of us, in order to make sure that nothing too untoward makes itself at home here, especially after the dragon, of course. There is also mentioned Jorgen. There is Artemis. He's a bit of a scholar. Artemis Gaul. He's an accomplished magician himself. And spends most of his time utilizing the local environment in his own ways, as well as providing the enchantments necessary in order to construct these things. And he gestures to the construct, who has kind of picked a corner to stand in at the moment. Gus says, there are a few of them around the house. As you understand, it's difficult to get, paid staff in such a location. And finally, there is my personal spiritual advisor, Bartholomew. He is a renowned priest of Din who has decided to accompany me up here. He has his own chapel up on the second floor.
Okay. Well, thank you. Do you mind if I take a look at the metal man?
By all means.
Okay. Specifically, I am trying, because we know that Fairwind dealt with firearms, Hikan is looking for the smell of gunpowder.
Okay.
Would that be investigation or perception?
That would be perception this time
Excellent.
around.
15.
You do not smell any gunpowder on this one.
All right.
You smell oil, but otherwise it's metal, oil, maybe a bit of wood. That's about it.
While Hikan does that, I'm just going to glance around the room, see if I see anything that looks like the symbol from the dagger.
Okay. Roll perception check.
Just in case. That's an 8. Never mind.
Okay.
Even without the disadvantage, that would have failed.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't seem to spy the symbol anywhere.
Okay. We thank you for letting us stay here for a bit and warm up, and yeah,
Not a
appreciate
problem.
it.
As I said, we don't get guests up here very often. We might as well do our very best that in the rare occasion that they do arrive, that we provide the best that we can. Let's see. what's your number? I think it's number 20. At which point, the construct just looks over to Grass and says, if you could do me, if you could be so kind as to lead our guests upstairs to allow them to pick one of the spare rooms, we'll be allow them to get acquainted and everything. We can have dinner served in but a few moments, just to be sure that they're settled in and calm and ready. And the mechanical servant nods with a squeak, holds up one hand in a kind of mock gesture of "follow me," and then will lead you out of the parlor, through the door that you entered in, back into the lobby, and then up a set of stairs, in order to then take you through another room, which appears to be a nice dining room, with like a long wooden table, and this room is also wall-to-wall bookshelves as well, but these ones are held behind like little glass cabinet sort of things. As you the mechanical servant leads you through that specific area, into another room which appears to be a series of doors of like smaller compartmental rooms, and it stands aside and gestures to the room itself as to say, go ahead, pick a room. And we will what we'll do, because we're very close to going over time, we will call it there for today. As our players have entered Snow Peak Manor, and yes, if you have played Twilight Princess, this is the exact same building. But yeah, thank you all for joining us in this little adventure of ours. I have been the Game Master ArticulateT. With me today, I have had Renji Vox, being played by TheNetherlad.
Hello, and good night.
I have had Hikan Sio, being played by Alvarance.
You know, we're actually making a name for ourselves. We have assassins after us now.
Yay!
I have had Ziden Shari, being played by Robopirate.
I hope this Snow Peak Manor is less haunted.
And I have had Max, being played by Keistrith.
This is so goddamn tired.
And we will see you guys next time. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye!